Hey, this is Mike with Smoking and Drinking, and today we're going to make root beer. And stick around till the end. I'll show you how to make a deliciously cheesy 5-cheese mac and cheese on the smoker. We have a root beer kit by Craft-A-Brew, and it's got everything we need in there to mix up the ingredients. We just need to add water, salt, and vanilla. Let's take a look at what's in there. We've got our guide to making root beer, instruction manual. Got our root beer botanicals, demerara sugar, I think I'm saying that right. A funnel, of course. Maltodextrin, a straining bag or steeping bag, a bottling kit. Looks like a couple of caps for the 2-liter bottles with the pressure relief valves on them. So next we'll be moving over to the kitchen. We'll be boiling some of these ingredients or bringing them close to a boil, and I'll see you over in the kitchen. Okay, first thing we need to do is bring 32 ounces of water to a boil. And while that's coming up to a boil, we're going to take the root beer botanicals and put them into the steeping bag. Now we need to tie the top of that bag shut. In these botanicals, there's a blend of sarsaparilla and burdock root, birch bark, star anise, ginger root, cinnamon, juniper berries, and it says more. I don't know what more is, but okay, we got our botanicals bag tied off, ready for that to go in the water when it, let's see, the instructions say to put it in while it's being heated. So we will put these in the water. We want to make sure they all get soaked. So we'll make sure we get that all down in there and get all those botanicals good and wet. Okay, we're making a tea, a botanicals, a root beer tea. All right, we'll just let that come up to a boil. And it says once the first sign of boiling starts, first bubbles, remove it from heat and cover the pot and start a 15-minute timer. So got our 15-minute timer going. Remove it from the heat. And we'll wait 15 minutes. Okay, while that is steeping, we've chosen to caramelize the sugar. Okay, it says to measure off 1/3 cup of the demerara sugar. Set the rest aside for later in the process. And we need 1 fluid ounce or 2 tablespoons of water. Tablespoons, and then we need to heat the saucepan on medium heat until it begins to reach a steady bubbling simmer. Then we'll we'll set 5-minute timer and we'll let that caramelize. Now it does say that not all the sugar will necessarily get covered by the water, and that's okay. We should see lots of bubbles. It says do not intervene with the sugar while it is caramelizing. So we'll wait for that to come to simmering boil. You can see the root beer tea is steeping nicely, starting to look a nice reddish brown color. Not sure what color it's supposed to be, but okay, it's getting close to a simmering boil there, the way it looks, starting to see little bubbles. Still have 7 minutes on our steep of our botanicals. This might come out just about the right time. Once this comes to a simmering boil, we need to cover it. After 5 minutes, the color should be quite dark, and we should start to smell caramel candy or caramel candy. Bubbles should release puffs of steam. All right, so we need to set another timer for 5 minutes. Set one on my watch. We'll wait 5 minutes while that caramelizes. Starting to smell that caramel aroma. Caramel candy. Around here where I'm from, we say caramel. Everywhere else seems like people say caramel. Whatever you prefer. Once that gets to a nice caramelized brown, another 3 minutes or so, we will reduce the heat to low and add 3 tablespoons of water, 1.5 ounces, and cover it, and the steam will be part of that reaction that helps caramelize that further and finishes that off. So here in about 3 minutes, we will lower the heat and add water for steam. Has a little history here in the front of the instruction booklet. It says in the 1800s, root beer was sold in confectionery stores and pharmacies, most often as an extract or syrup for making root beer at home. Eventually it became popular to serve root beer in frosty mug at soda shops, an image that most people associate with the tasty drink. It says historically, the sweet and spicy flavor comes from the bark of a sassafras tree or the sarsaparilla vine, and the ingredients in earlier versions were made with allspice, birch bark, coriander, juniper, ginger, dandelion root, vanilla beans, hops, molasses, licorice in those early versions of root beer. It certainly smells like caramel candy. Bring that back a little closer. So we'll pull that steeping bag out here in about a minute or so. Okay, looks like we're coming up on 5 minutes here, so I've got my 3 ounces of water. We're going to pour that in and cover it. We got the steam going there. We got to lower our heat to low. And we give that 3 to 5 minutes. Just about time to pull our botanicals bag out. Like root beer. Okay, so coming up on 15 minutes on the botanicals bag, so we'll pull that out of there. We'll be sure and squeeze as much of that out of there as we can. It's very warm. Put it over here in this. Back in. You know, it says when you're done with that, you can just discard the botanicals. Get all that squeezed out of there and get every last drop. Put that back. set that aside for a little bit. As soon as we're done with this simmer, we're going to remove the lid and give it a stir. Make sure there aren't any clumps or crystals in there. If there are, we'll just increase the heat a little bit, help melt those. And we should have a thin, dark brown syrup. Looks like we're coming up on our simmer. Turn that off, remove it from the heat, and set that aside. Cover that back up. Set that over here, and we'll bring this back over for the next step. Okay, we need to bring our root beer tea up to a medium heat, medium-high heat. Boy, that smells good. And we're going to add in a half a teaspoon of salt, the maltodextrin, and the demerara sugar. Stir that up so it all dissolves, and then we're going to add our caramelized sugar. So we'll just get that a minute or two to come back up to a medium-high heat. Okay, had that on medium-high heat for a couple of minutes. So we need to add a teaspoon of salt. We need to add our maltodextrin, and the remainder of our demerara sugar. Give that a stir to get that all dissolved. In our caramelized sugar. Get a little bit in there to help loosen up some of that. We want to get it all out of there. Okay. Down to medium heat. We'll have to simmer for about 3 to 5 minutes. Get all of those flavors blended together. Alright, it's been about 30 minutes or so. We got that down to room temperature. We just need to add a tablespoon of vanilla extract. I happen to have some here that I made here at home, so we'll add that in there. I'll have to do a video on making extracts. Tablespoon. And we now have root beer syrup. We are ready for the next stage, bottling and carbonating. We'll be right back. The last step in our root beer process is bottling and carbonation. There are two ways you can carbonate. You can use seltzer water, or you can do natural carbonation with yeast and the fermentation process. Well, we are a brewing channel here, so we're going to do the natural carbonation process. We have two empty 2-liter bottles that we've cleaned thoroughly, and we've removed the safety rings from each one. Get rid of those. The new caps that come with the kit have the safety ring and safety valve to prevent bottles from exploding. But got our 2 caps here, and our packet of Red Star Premier Cuvée yeast. All right, I've transferred our root beer syrup to a measuring glass for a little easier operation here. And hopefully I won't spill too much. And we measure equal parts to each 2-liter bottle. And yeah, it's going to be messy. These measuring glasses do not pour very nicely. We're going to have a little bit of spillage. We want equal parts in each bottle. Just kind of have to commit to the pour, I guess. That was pretty close. Didn't spill too much, just a few drops. That's why we have a towel. Alright, gonna have to clean that off now. Be right back, I'll go clean this up. Okay, now, that's it, that's your root beer. Just kidding. That's just the root beer syrup. We just need to add clean, clear water. Reminds me of an old song. Cool, clear water. You guys don't want to hear me sing. All right, we just bring these up, top them off. Bring that up to about 3 inches from the top. A little bit more in there. Right about up to the shoulder of the bottle. Would be good. Right there, let's add a little more to this one. That's good. All right. Now, need to add our yeast. It says to add a 1/4 teaspoon. Just gonna kind of guess. It doesn't take a lot. We're not really trying to build a colony of yeast. We're just trying to get a little bit of fermentation going to build that natural carbonation. So we'll just put, that's about it. We're just guessing here, 1/4 teaspoon. And we'll save the rest of this for another brew. Maybe we'll make wine or champagne. All right, so we need to cap it. It says to push down, and there we go, make it click. And we just need to give it a swirl, Get all of that mixed up real good in there. Interesting color. It's not quite as dark as the root beer we're used to seeing in the store, but proof is in the taste, not the color, right? So once we're done here, we'll just need to let these sit 12 to 24 hours, it says, checking them pretty regularly. What'll happen as that starts to ferment, these soft bottles will start to firm up, and then we'll know that we've got that carbonation going in there. So we'll check back in 12 to 24 hours. Okay, we let those sit for about 24 hours. They have firmed up quite a bit, and under those caps that came with the kit, it said push and screw but don't over tighten. Well, guess what? That click that I told you that you heard, we weren't supposed to hear that, but that's okay. I just put the old caps back on, and I put them in the bottle shelter, the bomb shelter, whatever you want to call it. It's basically just a plastic tote with a locking lid, just in case they would decide to explode. It contains the mess and any particles that fly out, but they're plastic bottles. It wouldn't have been too harmful. But anyway, when you do that, you have to be more careful and make sure that you monitor those. I checked them at 6 hours, 12 hours, and then again at 24. They're ready to go into the fridge, but let's go out to the smoker and check on the mac and cheese, and we'll take a taste of the root beer too. Oh, one more very important thing. If you're going to make these and you're not going to drink them right away, you want to be sure and keep them in your refrigerator. That slows the fermentation process. There is still sugar in this. That's what makes it sweet, but that's what the yeast tries to ferment. So putting them in the refrigerator until you're ready to drink them will keep them from fermenting further and slow it way down. Should halt it and won't explode. Okay, let's go check out the mac and cheese and the root beer. We've got our 5 cheese smoked mac and cheese all finished right off of the smoker. Our homemade root beer in kind of a frosty glass. Let's get a little bit of that poured off. Oh, there's even some carbonation there. That's awesome. Going to be hot, but I'm going to take a taste of it here. Take a little taste out of the corner. That's awesome. Very cheesy. I think my daughter is going to like that. Be a nice happy birthday gift for her. Let's see how the root beer is. Just like A&W. That's some awesome root beer. Okay, well, that does it for today. Thanks for tuning in. As always, like and subscribe, and thanks for watching Smoking and Drinking. I'm Mike. We'll see you next time.